Really? Why?
No, just kind of I did that other podcast today, and
Ah,
2 podcasts today is kind of a lot.
killing the mood, or
I was
taking
kind of
away the energy at least.
yeah, I was kind of stressed for that one as well because I'm not like super familiar with his music either. There's like
Yeah.
so much stuff. I know like
Ooh, yes.
the big ones and the big remixes and stuff like that, and the more recent output. But there's like so much stuff that I'd never heard, so I was like trying to listen to as much as possible, trying to find interesting questions. But yeah, no, he was really cool and easygoing. But
Nice.
it's
Is this
still,
already the intro?
yeah.
Talking about not to spoil anything, but anyone listening can guess who Simon is talking about. He has a track
Yeah.
mentioned in today's episode at in some.
Well,
form.
I'll actually just go ahead and spoil it because it's going to be out next.
Fuck.
It's going to be out next week anyway, so just to get people hyped. But yeah, I was speaking with Charlie Brake earlier today, so that's going to be next Monday's episode of the podcast. So yeah, definitely go and check that one out once it's out. He doesn't do that many interviews, so I was really happy to have him on. And obviously he's a OG of the scene, so it was awesome to get to speak with him. But yeah, no, that's the intro. I kind of gave up on doing formal intros for these episodes that we do together. So
Fuck that.
So yeah, here we are, back for another best of April this time. Our favorite releases of the past month. Myself, Simon, also known as Mill Street, with the man Ossi, also known as Wilson. How are you doing, man?
Hey. I'm doing great. I'm doing very nice. I'm prepping for the gigs of the weekend. It's going to be exciting. Some gigs for haven't been any for a long time now.
Tell people about the double booking.
Oh yeah, so we got a double booking. We're a duo, so we're going to do a traditional duo split. Other guy's going to play the other one, and the other one is going to play the other one. And
that made zero sense.
And I decided that I want my partner with me on my gig, so I made a cardboard cutout of him.
Do you have it there? Can you show it?
Oh yes, I can. So I have 2 pictures of him. I asked him to send him 2 pictures. He doesn't know yet for what reason. So I asked him to send him one, just a normal smiley face, and I asked him to send a bass face one. And I'm gonna cut them out, put them on a stick, and then I can have them with me.
Okay, go and fetch it. So this is a YouTube exclusive. Anybody listening on the podcast, it's huge. Like it's like 5 times the size of a regular head.
I should have made it much bigger. I didn't have any big enough cardboard to do it. So,
I can already see people in the crowd just going, "What the fuck is he doing with? who is this other guy? What's this all about?"
I'm hoping most of the people there know me already and know us, so we'll see. I might be the weird guy behind the decks, or it might be a great success.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of, because you're telling me you're preparing your set. If people haven't checked out on YouTube, we've been doing these classic album reviews. We did Photech, Modus Operandi, and we did Ed Rush and Optical Wormhole, and there's another one coming out soon. I was wondering, from the Wormhole album, are there any tracks that you kind of picked up that you're going to try to integrate to your sets now that you've listened to the album?
Not yet. I bought a couple of them. I haven't played around them yet, but definitely that is the idea. I've been trying a couple of things, but haven't found anything nice yet, really, so that kind of fits my liking. So, but yeah, definitely will do, especially from the Wormhole album, that's for sure.
Yeah. Some proper bangers on that one.
Exactly.
All right, so before we get into it, usual housekeeping. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube. Wherever you're listening, if you can drop a sub, drop a like, drop a follow, whatever is possible on the platform you're listening on, that always helps the podcast immensely. Go and follow my co-host here, weekly releases on Reddit, all that stuff. Twitch streams every second Monday. Telmex Wilson, is that the
yes,
handle
on Twitch.
Exactly.
Oh, I think it is. Yeah, Telmex Wilson on Twitch.
All right. And yeah, follow us on all the usual social mediums. And yeah, with
Links
that,
will be down below as usual.
as always. And there should be a link also to the Spotify playlist with all our picks of the month. So if you want all the songs in one place, you can also access that over on Spotify. And with that out of the way, let's get into our picks of this month. I ran through your picks, very eclectic, let's say, selection. Really spanning the full spectrum of drum and bass.
Basically, yes.
From very good to very shit. So I'm really
I have a feeling which one you think is shit.
So I'm really keen to dive into some of your selections. But yeah, I leave the floor to you. Where do you want to start this off with?
Okay, I'm gonna start it with. It's very hard to rank these this week. I'm not sure if I even ranked them before. Have I?
No.
I don't think I have. Anyway, but I'd say this is definitely one of my maybe in the top 2 this week or this month. This is Winslow's Bop and Weave that came out on Hospital Records. The compilation mixtape compilation by Lens, I think. And this was the best track from said compilation, hands down. Like there's a lot of variety in there. Obviously, coming from Hospital, they have very, very, very diverse producers these days, and this one just takes the cake, as you say.
I was wondering before you talk about the track, what was the concept behind what's the difference between this, because it's called mixtape by Lens, but it looks like a VA compilation. Like I wasn't too sure why it's like her mixtape.
Probably it's Hospital has been. I think they've been on a roll of kind of bringing out artists in more ways than just, hey, this is a new track from this guy. They've been pushing out these artists, for example. Well, Degs is a good example. He's been hosting. He got the Hospital Radio host gig now, and in general, they've been pushing artists in more ways, and I think this is just goes kind of very well hand in hand with that idea. You can actually like label some smaller producer on the label. You can label her name onto this product and kind of bring the name out that way. And I think it's a really good idea. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I was just curious where it's like her mixtape. Like I didn't follow the promo material and stuff like that, and if it's like dubs that only she had and was playing out, and so it's kind of her mixtape.
I doubt it.
Or is it a selection?
I got a feeling it's kind of probably 50-50, I'd say, somewhere along the line that she asked. They got the producers to do tracks who she liked or she wanted on there, and then a couple of others maybe wouldn't have otherwise been on there, etc. You know the drill.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the track.
I can honestly say that when listening to this tune, you're listening to one of the swingiest producers out there. It's excellent tracks. It's this elegant, kind of deep bass, not very a bit, but in a way an elegant banger with a couple of atmospheric elements mixed in perfectly. There's not much progression when it comes to the track, but what is changing is the kind of a synth element that is on top of the main bass line. That comes and goes, kind of changes a bit, or not a bit, a lot, in certain parts of the track. But that's really all it needs, because the driving force is kind of the swing, the groove of it, and the bass line. And then on top of that, you got these two different kind of synths on top of the bass line. First one on the first drop, second one on the second drop, and they don't really correlate with each other at all. Completely different. The other one is very aggressive, kind of a bit of a ravey sound, and the second one I don't know
Second one
how
is
to
just
describe it.
it's just like a string. Like
Yeah, basically, yeah, and it turns this track into something
so yeah,
that I
it's such
could
a weird
describe as
turn.
like a sneaking around vibe kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I'm getting this like someone's just sneaking in the corner
Yeah,
and
it's
trying
the
to
kind
hide
of
from someone.
it's the kind of sound you get like those old cartoons like Tom and Jerry and stuff,
Yeah.
where like Tom is like sneaking and you'd get
Yeah.
like these like strings playing like was it staccato notes or whatever, like do 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 do, like something like that.
Exactly, yeah.
And yeah, that sound kind of drops out of nowhere on the second drop. It's like all of a sudden it's like just like in your face, and you're like, oh wow, like this is weird.
And
But
yeah,
it works. It
great
works.
track. Yeah, it does. It works really well because it sounds like he had like a bunch of different ideas for this track and couldn't like decide on which one to go with, so it just slapped everything on top of it and just put it out basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I enjoyed every last bit of it. Basically, it was a great track.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I don't know if it worked as well for me as it did for you, and compared to his previous material,
I think it's one of his best.
Yeah, I didn't get that feeling at all. Like the Sandalwood Nights EP, I really enjoyed, and the Breaking News EP, which he came out with. I don't know. This one was maybe a bit more on the dissonant side sometimes, like in terms of the notes playing, and a bit more dissonant. And yeah, I don't know. I still enjoyed it. Just maybe didn't hit me as wasn't as impactful as his previous material. But I mean, still an awesome track, and starting to recognize more and more his tracks, like in the drums. I feel like when I hear, like if you gave me the whole like list or 30 tracks or something, and you pop that one in and ask me, okay, which one is the Winslow track, you could say it's that one immediately. Something in the drums and the kind of groove and swing of them that is kind of becoming his trademark sound, I feel. But yeah, no, really enjoyed that track. Yeah.
What's on your list? What do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the Phase album, because
Oh yes,
it doesn't happen that often that from all the drum and bass releases in a given month, we pick the same stuff. I don't know if it's ever happened even.
I think once before, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, maybe once. And so I just added my tracks, and then I saw, and we didn't add the same tracks from the album either. I don't know if you just picked random ones, but like
no, I didn't know.
So the tracks we picked weren't the same ones either, so that was interesting. But yeah, there was, I don't have that much time to listen to full LPs, and I think you're the same. But this one was one I wanted to sit down and listen to. Something in the name, Shore to Shore, the artwork, which I knew I was going to go on a journey. So I listened to it just from start to finish in one go, and absolutely loved it. So many ideas he explored on there that I haven't personally heard in drum and bass before. So many tracks going in one direction and then changing and going into another direction.
There's so much variety in there.
So much variety, but again, all working together really well. Very soulful
Super
tracks.
cohesive in the end.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of, I can hear now, again, coming back to those classic album reviews we're doing on YouTube, I can hear a lot of like older influences now when I hear some of the more recent tracks. I'm like, oh yeah, this reminds me of Ed Rush and Optical. Now I can say that finally. But yeah, a lot of like old and new ideas mixed together, plus exploring new things. Like in I think it was the opening track where there's like pretty much like opera singing. La Medusa.
It's almost this like nearly jazzy elements.
Yeah.
So super soothing at the beginning, and then it kind of. The one thing that stood out at the beginning was that the drums felt very heavy to me. And it sounds like this almost didn't fit, but it did work in the end.
Yeah.
But then once you get to the halfway line of the track, you realize why the drums are heavy.
Yeah.
Because he slaps on this
switches up
massive Reese bass grinder on it, and then just all out of nowhere, this jazzy, smooth, soothing track turns into this jungly banger, which is really nice. Kind of fits the Shore to Shore name. This is the title track of the album, so it's from the other side of the spectrum to the other.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
And that whole theme kind of carries on the whole album.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know if that's why he named the album. There might be a deeper reason, but for me, it felt
I
like
guess so.
it felt like the spectrum of his influences and the spectrum of drum and bass, shore to shore.
Because there's some heavy, there's like heavy jungle in here. Then you got some heavy steppers, got some deeper bangers, and then you got this soothing slap bass kind of jazz track. You got some plain old like liquid, some rollers, not the foghorn type. Although there's a foghorn track in there, or a bit of a foghorn element in one of them.
Yeah.
And you got all of these just pushed into one album, and it works really well. It's like this proof of concept album.
Yeah.
If I've ever seen one, like so many different styles done so well, and it kind of just screams that, hey, look at me, I can do everything.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, pretty much. But not in a show off kind of way.
No,
like it felt very classy, like very
exactly, yeah.
I don't know, like dignified or something. It's sometimes you can feel on an EP when an artist might do like a 140 tune and then a banger and then a liquid tune, and it's like sometimes it feels like, okay, look at me, I can do these different things. This album just felt very natural, like just exploring different genres, incorporating a lot of different influences. Yeah, I really loved it. Before I move on to specific tracks, I can still see the cutout of your DJ partner in the background, so feel free to leave it in if you want to, but just thought I'd mention it.
I think I shall.
All right, perfect.
Just eyeing you over there.
Yeah. So yeah, standout track for me. I love the intro, Shore to Shore. The other one that stood out to me was Cloud Contours, which is probably the most mellow track. Could easily fit on any North Quarter release. So it's really cool to see that type of track on a Metalheadz release. Just some beautiful, soothing piano. Those were kind of the standouts for me on the album.
Mine was Stress Out, which was this very, very heavy stepper. Reminded me a lot of LSB's Pot Shot. And Thirds, which was a jazzy, it was kind of a jazzy roller kind of track. And then Shore to Shore, that you already mentioned, that was also one of my favorites, because it kind of took you on a ride.
Yeah, Thirds is I'm just checking it out now to remember. That's the pure, like, just what's the name, like lounge type of track, like just some kind of background jazzy drums, like just a lot of cymbals rise, like a bit of brushing on the snare, like very, very calm, soothing. I wonder if there's any, because those drums again feel very real, very organic, if there's any
they do
any of it that was actually recorded on drum kits.
I would
on an actual drum kit.
I can't say for sure, obviously, but it
feels
kind
like
of sounds like it. Yeah. This you've talked to a lot of artists, and I'm sure you talk to people who have very different styles when it comes to drum and bass and what they do. Basically, like there's always some artists have their signature sound and they stick to that, but then some can do like liquid, and then sometimes they do some heavy bangers. And a lot of the time I've heard that these people are struggling to kind of find like a following because of that diversity, because they don't have that kind of same sound that people can easily follow. And I feel that in this way, because FaZe's history in drum and bass has been very diverse. You got a lot of the similar kind of things that you have on this album has been going into his previous work. And I feel that an album on Metalheadz is a perfect way to kind of combine these things and kind of bring people to follow you, basically. Because if you put out, it's a bit different compared to if you put out an EP of Liquid and then you put out an EP of Bangers and then
Yeah.
you do that and then you on another release you do a different thing. But here when you combine it into an album, it kind of like I said, it kind of like screams like look at me, and it's the best in my mind. It would be the best way to bring forth a diverse set of skills.
Yeah, definitely.
Put out an album, especially on a big label like Metalheads.
Yeah, I remember like a super old tune. Well, old, I don't know. I actually don't know.
For like 2 years old.
Yeah, probably like, I was going to say like 2015, so it's not like that old. But he did a track with Whiny.
Who?
Phase. But this was like before I knew any artist. This was just like me when I was listening to just on like YouTube channels without really knowing the artist. I think it was like It Means Nothing or something like that.
Yep, it is. Just checked it out. Yes.
Yeah. And that's like that was like one of my favorite like tunes back in the day, but without knowing like who Whiny is, who Phase was, and now with this album, I was just checking what he released, and I was like, oh, he did that track, which I think came out on Liquidity, and it was a pure like just liquid, just a liquid tune. And it's funny to see him going from that to this concept album with like jazzy tunes and heavy hitting gritty bass and some opera singing, and I don't know, I love it. I love to see that kind of progression in artists. So yeah, brilliant album. So as we said, came out on Metalheads, Shore to Shore by Phase. Make sure to check that one out and support it if you enjoy it.
Excellent.
Moving on, what's next on your list?
Next on my list is Ruben, Undeniable.
I see you're avoiding the elephant in the room, but go on.
We'll get there.
Sorry, actually, before just going to close the curtains here because the sun's setting. Just a second.
Go ahead.
Please entertain the listeners.
Oh God, what am I gonna do? No, I think Simon is gonna have to cut this out. I tried once entertaining you guys and it didn't work out very well. I don't feel it did, so.
All right.
Yeah, he's gonna have to cut this out.
Yeah, there's no way I'm editing whatever you said out because I don't have the time.
Please.
So. All right.
Okay,
sorry.
yeah. So Ruben, Undeniable. Ruben is I guess, you can say a newish artist. He's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. He was a part of the duo Order, like Ordure. I got a couple of, I didn't know this before, but they had a couple of really cool tracks that I liked. Also very diverse. You got some liquidy stuff, some steppers and halftime bangers, etc. And I didn't know that he was a part of this duo before. And I'm not surprised kind of how diverse his style is too, because you had his EP on our last episode, didn't you?
Yeah,
you had the Memories EP picked
on the overview.
Yeah. And that one was very dire. That was like a proof of concept EP again. And this one continues in the steps of one of his tracks from that EP. Because he has a very, very similar synth to his track Memory. Which one was it?
Like,
on the EP?
I don't remember.
Oh God, I have to check.
Is it Wait, let me open it. No,
no need to.
No need
yes.
to. Is that the one? Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. And in general, this track is very kind of moody, but it takes you on a journey basically. It's still this kind of track that you can play out loud in a club, for example, and it would work very well. I don't know. I don't have much to say about it, but enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
And big up Ruben. He's one
of the most like accomplished new producers. Like when you look at what he's at least under Ruben, I don't know how much he released before.
Not that much. Not that
Yeah,
much.
but when you listen to the quality of his stuff, he put out that collab EP with Waze, and then his solo EP, and now this track. So like not a lot of stuff, but you listen to the production quality and the ideas, and you're like, shit, like it's really good. And yeah, that track Undeniable kind of hits that vibe of you can listen to it at home. Like it's not this huge banger that you're never gonna just put on in your living room. Like you could play it at home and kind of vibe out to it, and it's nice and chill in that way. But you can also drop it in a set. I can see DJs dropping it easily at raves. So
Yeah.
kind of strikes that balance. Yeah.
But apparently has a lot of work behind him in terms of music in general. This information is from Leonard Hoffman, who does reviews on a subreddit on RDMB, and he did a review on Memories, and this some of this stuff is taken what he found out from his background work that he usually does. And apparently he was a sound designer. He did some advert jingles. He did music for a movie as well.
That would explain a lot.
And he was the label manager for Blackout at some point, which is Black Sun Empire's label in Netherlands. So
Okay.
so he has history. let's say
Yeah,
that.
definitely a lot of background in the scene for sure. But yeah, no,
So that could be why he sounds very, very grown up, if you could say that.
yeah, and that was part of I think VA an EP compilation. VA, I think was
Yes, it was.
on Squad Music. I think was the label, not a label I'm super.
Yeah, there was
familiar with.
other people on this. Was Wings, Sekula, Freed, Hajimari, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
And Tide Warp, and whole EP was pretty good. So go check that out. It's called SQD 010,
10. Yeah.
and this track was Ruben, Undeniable. Great track.
All right. Gonna shout a few mentions. Just stuff I enjoyed, but not so much to say about them, or just artists that I want to shout out. So quickly, in no specific order, Artsy put out an EP today on Goldfat.
That was
Asinine
really
EP.
good.
Yeah. Kind of his trademark sound. I don't know if you remember a track I talked about a long time ago called Longing, which was a track he self-released, and got kind of the same vibe in some of these tracks. So I can definitely start seeing maybe not a trademark sound, but an artsy sound.
Somewhat of a sound, at least.
Yeah, definitely. A ton of like reverse guitars and reverse pads and reverse melodies. I feel that's kind of his go-to for writing tracks, but it all works really well. And yeah, really enjoyed that EP, and just kind of cements the output of Goldfat, which I've said many times, but I've never come across a release from them that I don't like, which is helped by the fact that they do one release a month usually. But yeah, just
Quality versus quantity.
Exactly. So loved that one. Galaxy, Visionobi, and Ria Paradise. Really enjoyed that track. They probably don't need to be bigged up at this stage, but just thought I'd mention it. Really loved that track, and loved the combination of like singer and MC on tracks. Happens from time to time. Really enjoyed it.
Oh god, I don't like. I very rarely like that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, especially.
Why?
Well, I guess it's more apparent in general in rap music when you have some very serious rapper and then you've got someone singing, and that it's been a trend in pop music for some time. For example, that one Eminem track with I can't remember who it was with, one of his biggest tracks basically.
Oh, with Dido. With Dido. Dido,
no,
Dido?
not that one. Anyway, but when you got the rapper and then in the chorus you got some singer coming along, and it kind of just destroys the mood completely for me. I don't
Can you-
like that.
Are you
at
sure
all.
that's not the track you're thinking of?
I am. The
Okay.
Dido one was Stan,
Yeah.
and that was just basically sampled. It wasn't even.
Yeah.
It wasn't basically a collab. But,
All right. Yeah, no,
but yeah, that
usually
it's,
it works
it's
for me.
not my thing at all.
Did you check that track out? Did it work for you or?
Yeah, this one actually did. It wasn't because it's more apparent when you have some a bit more serious tone, and then you switch it out with some lovey-dovey vocals or something. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I know. I see
But
what
that,
you mean.
yeah, like I said, that's more of a pop music thing these days
Yeah.
than drum and bass.
Yeah. A few other quick mentions. Rizzle Mirage EP. I think it hit number. I'm sure it hit number 1 on Beatport, so definitely doesn't need to be bigged up. But just a really solid EP on Overview. VA compilation on Galaxy Night Drive. Some solid tunes on there. One from Stike that I loved called Oblivion. Stike, who was one of the very, very first guests I had on the podcast when I started, and didn't really release much music since then. So great to see him releasing music again. And I think the opening tracks from the VA by Genetics, Upside Down, really enjoyed that one. Very earwormy melody, kind of stays in your head. So really enjoyed that one. Plus a lot of tracks from friends of the podcast, Ben Rolo, Hirath, Subliminal, Solar.
A lot of music.
A lot of guys that I know and go and support them. So that's the Night Drive VA on Galaxy. And finally, an LP I didn't have time to check out yet, but I did want to mention it. Lennis put out his first LP on Differential called Perceptions of Reality. Didn't have time to check it out at all, so can't speak for the quality of it per se, but
Might be shit.
Exactly. I'm sure it's not, obviously, but just a really, really good guy, and putting an LP together is a huge, huge accomplishment in itself. So even though I haven't checked it out, I did want to mention it on here. So that's Lennis with Perception of Reality. And yeah, those were some quick mentions from me, and I'll just jump on to another track, Metric and Graphics Skyline. Don't know if you heard it, but instant banger classic for me.
Yeah, I was thinking you'd probably like this, considering your latest endeavors into dance floor drum and bass.
Yeah, just I don't know. It's the kind of track kind of puts me in a mind space and a mood from the very first notes. Those tracks like Metric Graphics, they use a lot of the same sounds, the same synths. So it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing groundbreaking as such. But it just works perfectly for what it wants to do.
Don't fix what ain't broke, basically.
Exactly, yeah. Really, really catchy melody, catchy vocals from, I believe, Metric. He sings all those vocals himself. Just really catchy. You can just see, I can already see people singing along this summer at festivals. And then the drop that just works really well. So yeah, just love that track. And the third single, I think, from Graphics, Graphics' upcoming LP sometime in June, Half-Life.
Waiting for that one.
Yeah.
Good.
His first solo LP. So yeah, just really love that track. Banger. Can't wait to hear it out live.
Nice.
Back onto you.
Okay, so completely different vibe from dance floor drum and bass. I'm going with next thing I want to talk about is Samurai Breaks XTC Generation LP. Not the normal kind of thing.
Where did
I
you dig out that
listen
one?
To. Just bumped into this on Beatport a couple of weeks ago. Fucking hell. Absolutely killed it for me. This is from a label called Off Me Nut.
Yeah. I was hoping you'd mention that.
which in itself kind of
Sets
got
the
my
tone.
attention. Yes, sets the tone definitely. I'm not big on labeling stuff with subgenres. Usually, just outside some of the obvious kind of liquid dance floor. This is obvious neurofunk, etc. But so I don't have really any idea on what subgenre this would be. I can only kind of describe it as high energy rave bouncer.
I was gonna
That's
say
what
just pure fun, like just fun.
exactly
It's,
with a little jungle mixed in. And
yeah,
just
it's
fun. Yeah,
it's the kind of track. It kind of reminds me of like tech house sometimes, where tech house for me, and sorry if people listening love tech house as well, but for me it's a genre that's kind of hard to take seriously. You know what I mean? It's like it's a lot of fun, but it's hard to take it seriously. It's kind of, I don't know, the little cousin that's always doing like funny, stupid shit, and kind of hard to, I don't know, consider him like an adult or something. I don't know. And this track kind of was similar for me, where it's like it's a lot of fun as a track. It's kind of hard to take it seriously, and I haven't listened to the whole. Jeez, what?
the whole album.
Sorry, yeah, to the whole LP. But I don't know if all the other tracks are like this, but
Pretty much, yes. Pretty much. There's some maybe slight more seriousness in some of them, but a lot of them are very tongue in cheek.
Yeah, exactly.
And Samurai Breaks in general has been on my radar for a few years now. I don't know much about his history, but his Spotify goes back to 2016, I think it was, and his SoundCloud a bit further than that, a few years back from that too. And his earlier work is very jungle and halftime oriented, very serious. Yahas. Doo-ba-da-ba-doo. My internet cut. Hei, voitko? Mulla on jo nettiyhteys. Nyt vittu. Work, you piece of shit.
Yo.
Sorry,
Why?
my internet cut.
Okay. Are you
My phone,
back on
my
Wi-Fi,
phone
or
died. I'm sharing from there, so.
are you on a hotspot?
Yes, my phone. So ran out of battery. I looked at it before we started. I went to the toilet. I looked at my phone. I was like, I gotta remember to put that on charge when we start.
Nice one.
Guess if I did.
Were you actually on hotspot from the start, not on Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have a Wi-Fi?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's weird, but okay. Weird flex, but okay. All right. How long did you?
It's Finland after all.
Yeah,
Connections are fucking good here.
You barely,
Phone, everything to do with technology is perfect.
You guys barely have running water, right? So.
Oh yes.
How long did you talk for before you realized you cut out?
I just started. No, I didn't talk for long because I was looking at my Spotify and it went dark. I was like, "What?" And I was, "Oh fuck!" I knew immediately what happened. Okay, let's continue.
I'll smoothly reincorporate this part into the podcast. Back to you.
Samurai Breaks. He's been on my radar for some time now. And like I said, his Spotify goes back to 2016, SoundCloud a few years back. And his previous stuff is more like Junglian halftime and very, very serious tone on them. Not very playful as this is.
Yeah.
Only recently has he been doing more of this kind of tongue-in-cheek rave sound kind of stuff, which this album is like to the core basically. And in the past few years, he's caught my attention with exactly that style. And I think he just excels in it completely. I can't recall anything else to this extent that has come out in like the past few years. And I've listened to a lot of drum and bass in the past few years. And I can't remember anything that like similar. Although this would be kind of the genre that we might miss when we go through all the new releases, etc. I feel that jungle and the kind of underground jungle scene is the thing that is probably lacking the most, even though that is covered pretty well, but still. And this kind of music I'd imagine would be in that kind of scene.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's something similar that has come out, but I haven't heard it, and this is so much fun.
Yeah. But it's almost not drum and bass. Like it's very
No,
loosely connected to drum and bass.
Yeah, it's 100 and it's like the BPM is correct, and you got some jungle breaks in there.
Yeah, but the kick snare pattern is like nothing like
Yeah, exactly.
drum and bass.
There's a lot of four on the floor stuff in there, and very mixed. Like you might had one phrase of kicks all around, and then all of a sudden you turn into this break beat out of nowhere in the same track. And all the kind of the tunes, they have this crazy quality to them, some kind of crazy vibe to them. And I can only like imagine how much imagination and ability it would take to craft all these different weird funky elements into actual tracks that work as a whole, and not have it be some kind of like overcrowded mess. I don't know. I applaud this album a lot.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed the track. I don't know if I'd listen to it a lot, but I can definitely see how if it's played out live, it can be so much fun.
I'm gonna drop some of these on
are you
on
gonna
the
drop
gig on
them?
the weekend.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
dude, ask somebody to film it before. Is somebody filming or? You don't know, maybe.
I don't know. Well, I can ask.
We'll ask somebody to film before you drop that. I just want to see people's reaction. But
it's this is the kind of music. If you drop at a drum and bass party, you have to maybe set the tone a bit. I'm thinking bringing in some rave jungle vibes, and then this, and that could work. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what I come up with on the spot.
You have to massage people into that tune. You can't just open with it. But no, it is a lot of fun, and I didn't mean anything like bad when I said it's hard to take it seriously. It's just you get.
I don't think even
it's
Mr. Samurai Breaks.
You just get a lot of drum and bass tracks or artists that take themselves very seriously, and it's very like almost intellectual and stuff like that. And this is the polar opposite of that. It's just like this is just meant for pure fun, like have fun, dance your nuts off to it. But Samurai Breaks. That was what was it called? Ecstasy Generation or
XTC Generation.
XTC Generation. Yeah, on Off Me Nut Records. Try to say that without laughing. Really sets the tone for the track. But actually, that's the LP. Yeah, the track you sent me was Dirty Bubbler.
Dirty Bubbler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there a track called?
Well, that was my favorite one.
Yeah, there's an actual track called Ecstasy Generation. Haven't checked out that one. But yeah. All right, moving on. What else do I have on my list here? Oh yeah, I don't know if it's it's not a similar vibe. It's a lot more serious, I get, but still fun. The Sakura EP on.
I wanted to ask you about that, but go on.
Yeah. I knew this pick would kind of bamboozle you, and you'd be like, why is this liquid dumbass picking this EP? But so Sakura EP by Refracta on Onyx. Let me check before I get this wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Onyx Recordings. Refracta, not sure how you pronounced it. 5-track EP, and really enjoyed it. Honestly, this is the part where when I selected it, I was like, okay, these monthly recaps, they aren't meant for just my favorite releases, because then you'd get only like North Quarter and 1985 releases, and it'd be the same every month. What I also want to do is just shout out stuff that, at least to me, sounds very new and very innovative and exploring new ground. even though it might not be my favorite track of the month. And this is exactly this EP. Like from the starting track, believe it's Tokyo. Yeah, Tokyo, the first one, and that drop with like the melodies and like offbeat, and it has this kind of huge, not like big house, but like I could hear like influences from the big EDM guys of like almost like LMFAO and Dimitri Vegas and like Mike, you know, like huge
Haven't heard those names for a while.
like Swedish House Mafia back in the day, and you know, like those huge Tomorrowland anthems. I could kind of hear like some influence from that in the melodies, but incorporated in a very techie, deep drum and bass style.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen. I can't remember.
Yeah, if you listen to like the first track, Tokyo.
Okay, can you get it now? Yeah, I'm listening to it now. Yes.
You see what I mean? Like the huge leads, but in a very sidechain drum and bass kind of way. And yeah, like that's the kind of track where if I'm doing something else, that track came up and I was like, okay, shit, what's this? What's happening? This, you had my attention, now you have my curiosity, or the other way around.
Other way around.
Yeah, other way around. Can't realize when I said it did come out right.
Fuck.
But yeah, that track just did it for me, and the rest of the EP is just really well crafted, well produced. Kind of justifies why Onyx got Best Newcomer at the Drum and Bass Arena Awards this year. When they're putting out stuff like that, it's very, very forward thinking, I feel, exploring new grounds. Again, this is all me and my small liquid brain. It feels very, very new to me. But yeah, just really loved that track. Could hear a lot of different influences and stuff I haven't heard in drum and bass before. So yeah, really, really enjoyed this EP.
Do you feel that going through all these new tracks with me, in the past, how long have we been doing these?
For a few months, yeah,
half a year.
Yeah, we were doing the rundown before, so
yeah. So has it influenced your tastes? Like, because you had stuff from Similar, for example. Angels was a pretty safe pick from you, but then you had his other track, Macabre. Macabre. How the hell yeah. So, and that wasn't. I don't feel that was a very safe pick. Do you feel that it just being forced to listen to all this different stuff has influenced?
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Because every week I'm forced to listen to your weird, shitty picks. So I'm exposed to music I'd never listened to because I just want to hear what you picked and have something to say about them. So I'm listening on a monthly basis now, but more often when we're doing the rundown on a monthly basis, listening to stuff I'd never listened to regularly. So it's definitely making me discover new stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I guess just, yeah, this month specifically, I was like, okay, I could big up the North Quarter releases and some Liquid stuff. But what's the point of bigging up the same labels and the same artists like every month, even though they might be my favorite type of music? And so this month, for example, I saw Onyx released that EP, and I don't know, something about the artwork and the name of it kind of grabbed my eye, and I just put it on my waiting list because I don't often check out Onyx and their releases. So I was like, oh yeah, I just want to check this one out. And yeah, I guess kind of forcing myself to explore stuff I wouldn't listen to usually. Yeah. So yeah, again, wouldn't be I don't know if I'm gonna listen a lot to that EP, but when I listened to it, it definitely like piqued my curiosity, and I felt like it was exploring new ground, so I wanted to mention it on here.
Because the same thing kind of applies to the Hugh Hardy EP. You picked the Kodiak track, which was the most non-liquidy track on the
Yeah.
album. Basically, you had Inhale Exhale, which was very Hugh Hardy liquid stuff.
Yeah.
Then you had the track called Coulda Woulda,
Yeah.
which was my favorite, but it was kind of maybe a bit more energetic, kind of bops kind of style
Yeah.
track. But then you picked this, which was kind of what was this again?
Kodiak. It's like this
Very stepper banger.
Yeah, heavy hitting, but I'll get to that track in a moment. But I guess where I'm coming from is the liquid scene, and I listen to so much liquid that it's getting harder and harder to find liquid
interesting stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm always gonna enjoy a liquid tune, but do I want to? Like, there's a lot of tunes that I'm gonna enjoy, but I won't have a lot to say about them because it's stuff I've heard before, just done a bit differently. And I want to take this chance here on these episodes that we do to talk about tracks where I do have something to say about them. So on that Hugh Hardy EP, Inhale Exhale, there were some liquid tracks that I enjoyed, but I didn't have much to say about them, you know. But that Kodiak, is it Kodak or Kodiak? It's a weird
Kodiak.
name. Kodiak, yeah. That was one where I was like proper bass face on the drop. Like I was like, fuck, love this. And again, reminded me of the Wormhole album. Which track was it? I think it was Compound, where the drums come in with this huge like drum roll.
Yeah.
I think it was Compound, where there's this huge drum roll and then it goes into those drums that are really clean. The drum work on this track, Kodiak, before the drop is fucking insane. Like, I loved it. There's like this one drum roll and you think it's gonna drop, and then it goes to some other drums and then some other ones, and then it drops. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit. And yeah, just really enjoyed that track. I thought it was just a lot of fun, and just that turnaround into the drop was
nice.
Really, really impactful. So yeah, that's why I chose that one. I don't know if you agree with what I said, but
yeah, I do. Yeah, it's your opinion, man.
I mean, that's like your opinion, man.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's at least 2 tracks that you need to talk about at some point.
Okay, so I'm kind of out of the tracks that I really want to talk about. I got a couple. The rest is kind of like honorable mentions, so to say. These ones were really good, but just didn't find the mood to get words out more. So some of these Zero T, Everyday Struggles, which was really nice track. It's a continuation to his previous single. Same artwork, same style artwork. So I'm not sure if this is a album or
it's
EP
an LP
that it's a part.
Yeah, it's really cool actually. It's a LP coming out maybe next month. I'm not sure, on the North Quarter, and it's a collab between him and Onge. I don't know if that's the way.
Yes.
It's pronounced. Who, if I'm not mistaken, is a blind pianist. And they collab together, and so I think that's why you're gonna get a ton of piano on all the tracks from that
They're
LP.
really nice. Like the first one was Rodeo Drive that came out, and this one, Everyday Struggles, they kind of go with the same theme, or the same kind of style, but it's so lush, so like
which
excellent liquid. I enjoy that a lot.
Kind of reminded me of when I spoke to Sattel on the podcast, and he also has a like unofficial pianist collaborator.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Yeah,
and this guy sends him a ton of just recordings of piano, any BPM, any key, and he has this wealth of recordings to work with and to sample and it's like, how bad I would want to be able to work with somebody like that instead of going through Splice and finding super cheesy samples, or just have like the
good stuff,
an actual pianist sending you like hours and hours of recording, and you can just cut away and have fun with it. I don't know, it must be the best ever. But yeah, sorry. So just that album is a collab album between the two of them. So that's why there's a lot of piano in those tracks.
Next, I want to mention Chase and Status' new single, Mixed Emotions. Very different to what they have put out recently. This one is kind of very melodic, pretty like toned down in terms of festival anthem, but it still is a kind of festival. It's kind of a precursor to a big massive tune, basically.
Yeah,
it's kind of bit jungly, a lot of kind of these big piano notes.
Yeah, it's more driven by the vocalist than it is by a huge lead or something. So
yeah,
which I wanted to ask you, like, what's your opinion on tracks where there's a full vocal performance and no vocalist credited? Because I find it weird.
It is, of course, it's weird. Sometimes it's probably due to it being a sample. Sometimes it's just not wanting to have your name out there. I know a good example is Dimension and his tracks that he's put out lately, or not lately. I think the latest ones are credited, but the ones before, when he went on to Worship Artist, the first tracks, he had that one female vocalist on a lot of his tracks, and they were never credited. And I don't know, it could be due to millions of reasons, so I kind of hold judgment.
Yeah. I just find it
you never know what's behind it. Like, they might not want to have their name out, or I don't know, anything really.
Yeah.
I don't really. It's a shame in a sense, obviously, but what can you do? You do? Next, I got a track for you that does have a credited vocalist. That is Reflect and Deline Bass, Need to Feel, Matrix remix.
Dude, that was
this original track. Like, the Matrix remix the track in general is decent. But the original track, I want to start from there. The original track is a trance record, and it is probably my favorite trance track of all time. I come from a trance background. I used to listen to a lot of Above and Beyond.
How is Tiesto Adagio for Strings not your favorite trance track?
Kind of. No, it's not. It's not even Tiesto's best track.
What?
Like, I think Tiesto's best track is his Traffic.
No, it's Let's Get Down to Business. Isn't that
definitely.
Tiesto?
Yeah. I forgot about that.
By far.
And
not aggressively in Finnish.
So as soon as I saw this track pop up, I was like, oh my God, it's going to be terrible. Like, oh God. It's like destroying the classic, but I think the best thing about this remix is that it's not terrible. It's actually doable, which is why it's on my honorable mentions, and I will probably play this at some point. I will be listening to this track, and yeah, it's listenable. That's
dude,
and you got that vocal in there, which I love so much. It's, oh my God, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't even.
Yeah, I don't know the original, and I was like looking at like, okay, Reflect, who's this Reflect guy, and was looking on Spotify, and the only thing is remixes of that track. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
I'm not surprised. It's like this huge trance classic.
Yeah, it's like that's literally the only track on Spotify is Need to Love remix. Matrix remix, Danik remix.
An interesting thing about Matrix, he used to do, I think before he went into drum and bass, and he used to do progressive house under the name of Jamie Matrix, and he used to release on a label Anjuna Beats, which is exactly Above and Beyond's my fanboy dreams.
Yeah, it's like the go-to
record
housey,
label. Trance mainly, but there's also.
I thought it was like a deep house label.
Their deep house label is bigger than the trance label these days, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the go-to deep house labels. Also, one of the biggest trance labels. Anyway, so he has a lot of influences from that side, from over there. And considering he was on Anjuna Beats, I'm sure this track is very dear to him, as he does come from a similar background. So yeah.
I really enjoyed the
next-
track. I didn't know the original, but I thought it was like a big like dance floor anthem. Like that melody, I don't know if it came somewhere from the original, like the main melody in the drop or not. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a bit of a melancholic feeling to it, dance floor melancholy. So yeah, I can see it working really well in summer festivals.
Then we got Break and Total Science Blame You, which is Beatport's #1 track currently, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just a great break tune.
Yeah.
That's basically it. When the man, he knows what he does, basically.
Yeah.
You just talked to him. Did he talk about this track? Did you talk about this release at all?
We didn't even talk about tracks because there was so much like from label management to just his time in the scene to social media. So we didn't even talk about specific tracks in the end. We talked about Tri Audio, which is that new label he launched for. He launched with Total Science for their collabs together. So we talked about that and why they launched the label. But didn't really talk about tracks in specific. So didn't talk about that one. Sorry.
That's okay. That is very much okay. Next, Mosey, Mr. Loverman, just came out today on Souped Up. It's classic Mosey Souped Up sound. It's if you've heard his previous tracks on said label, then it's very much that. I fucking love Mosey these days because he's so diverse when it comes to his music. He's got the Souped Up tracks, which are this big jump uppy, ridiculous everything.
Ridiculous club destroyers, basically. That's what I call them.
And
It's just meant to destroy the club. Literally.
And then one of his latest releases, Unity EP, which came on 31 Records, which first of all was very interesting to me. And when you listen to it, it's this kind of old school Marcus Intellects kind of vibe. Okay. And it's fucking brilliant. Like all of the tracks on there are really good. And again, something that a lot of them are something that I haven't heard like in recent days a lot. And then he had the first track that he ever what he brought to the table was or the one that I've heard at least first. He has put out some stuff before is I Can Be Your Future. And that one was too very, very different. And I just like his ideas. I like his ideas. I think he's very, very forward thinking in terms of his music, and he's doing stuff that other people aren't. Big up Mosey.
Did you feel like Break It Down was forward thinking or?
Definitely.
Oh yeah,
hands down. Yeah.
Oh.
Tell me someone who's doing that kind of sound. Tell me someone who is doing that kind of similar.
The foghorn sound? Where do I start? Okay, it's
okay. There's a few that There's a bit of a wobble in there, basic wobble, but still like the I don't know. There's something about it.
No, it works.
It's the spot.
Yeah, sometimes those drops are just stupid, and you're like, okay, here we go again. But this one on Break It Down specifically, I was like raving to it while we were connecting, and that's saying a lot from a liquid brain like myself. So really enjoyed that track. The drop on that one is ridiculous. Like people need to check it out.
And I said at the start of the episode that I can't kind of rank these tracks, but in the end, I have to. I think I can honestly say that the next track is my top pick of the month, hands down, like #1, probably track of the year in terms of drum and bass. No, screw that. In terms of all music,
better than Down Under, better than
definitely. You have Scooter with The Spell Remains.
That was a throwback. When I saw that name in the list, I was like, Scooter, wait, is that the dude that was doing Jump Style back in like 2002 or whatever it was?
Yep.
And sure enough, it's the same. It's actually like a trio, I think, or I don't know how many guys there are.
Yeah, there's a couple.
But yeah, from jumping all around the world, I think was the one of their big anthems in the jump style.
Oh, don't forget how much is the fish.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite from Scooter, just because of how ridiculous again it is.
So I was quite surprised to see that name in a drum and bass recap, but please expand on why you picked this track.
Interestingly, the flutes they've been making I can't say a comeback. I don't think they were never ever a thing, but flutes have been all of a sudden popping out.
Yeah.
You had Down Under, then Document One just put out a jump up track with a flute, and now Scooter put out this flute track, and this is originally I guess almost the whole track is a copy of a basically a meme video. It's J Cut and Cult Sewers or something, Sewers, the flute tune. It's a Soul Pride remix. So if you just put the flute tune on YouTube, it'll come up, and this is the melody is straight up ripped from that, and that's also a drum and bass tune. So it's kind of a full out copy, basically, just done not very well. In general, like the production of the track is not very good.
It's shit. It's shit.
The music video is fucking terrible. So in the end, yeah, definitely my favorite track of the year.
All right, I was like sending messages earlier trying to find a co-host to replace you when I saw that pick. But I'm happy to see it was just a joke. Yeah, that tune is like stupid. And so it's Scooter and Barbara Tukes, and it's. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't know who these guys are. I don't know what that tune is doing on. I don't even want to check how many. Okay, it has 1 million plays. Obviously, it has.
It's Scooter, but still not. It's not very good for them though.
No. They probably stick to techno and jump style if people are still doing it. But yeah, no, an awful tune. And for as much as I don't enjoy flute in general, I did enjoy the Down Under track. We listened to it together a few weeks ago, and I'm in the camp that tune is a banger, and that dude deserves everything coming his way. This track, on the other hand, is just shit. So yeah, that's my 2 cents, and I'm very happy to say it out loud because I'm sure Scooter isn't listening to this.
I was
podcast.
just gonna say, if Scooter's listening, I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah, but I'm sure they can take it. If you have a tune called "How Much Is the Fish," you can take anything.
That was it for me.
Yeah, I think from my side, I didn't have much more to mention. I was surprised you didn't mention the Cow and Crook tune, which was
kind of.
I think their first. Good. Is that their first release on the Modus,
on the new label? Yes,
the new label with Mephius. Yeah, Overture is the name of the track. Yeah, I thought it worked well. I felt like right down your alley, so I was surprised you didn't pick up on it.
It's maybe a bit too melodic for me.
Too melodic.
I don't know. It just didn't hit. Didn't hit for me.
I'd say I love the drop, and it's typical pure Cameron Crooked sound now. It's like their own thing. It's so like they've carved this sound and it's their own. I did feel like it was a bit over lengthy in the intro. Like the drop comes in halfway in the tune, like over 2 minutes in, which I feel is a bit of a trend.
It's a bit of a concept track.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah. But yeah, it's still obviously fucking amazing production levels, and just getting everything to hit so loud and so coherently. I did want to big it up.
I just don't think anything can top Cientello anymore. So.
Yeah, we've talked enough about that, dude. I managed to spend.
You want to go into it again?
I spent at least a month not thinking about that track. Now you made me think.
You are
of it
welcome.
Again.
Go ahead.
But yeah, no, that was it for me. Some really
excellent.
really strong releases this month. I was happy to discover a few artists that I hadn't heard before, weren't on my radar. Plus, knowing that Scooter is in drum and bass now is they're here
Blessing.
to save drum and bass and bring it to the next level, bring it to the masses. So
Thank you, Scooter.
I'm really thankful for that. And yeah, that wraps up this edition of our best of series. We'll be back next month for our best releases of May. In the meantime, if you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment as to what we should check out in the coming month when it comes out. If you're not yet, do join the Discord server. Last week Liquid, there should be a link in the description. And yeah, that's about it for us. Where can people check you out? We've mentioned it in the intro, but always good to plug it again at the end.
You can find me on Instagram at Telman Wilson. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Telm Wilson. And you can find me every Monday on Reddit posting new checks for everybody. All the new releases with a couple of reviews from our friendly neighborhood, Leonard Hoffman.
RDNB, pretty much the pinned post every Monday.
Yes.
Because you never want to pin these episodes. So
don't put me on the spot like that.
I just did. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening, watching wherever you are, and we'll be back soon with either our React videos on YouTube or with another episode end of next month. In the meantime, stay safe wherever you are, and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.